All right, listeners, buckle up because we're going deep today. We're diving into Japanese business philosophy.
Ooh, sounds intense.
It is, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. We're not hitting the boardroom or cracking open a textbook.
So, where are we getting our wisdom from?
From, well, a Japanese podcast.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's called, get this, Grilled Mackerel Radio.
Grilled mackerel radio.
You're kidding. Nope, totally serious. It's actually a pretty popular show in Japan.
I would never have guessed. What kind of business insights can we get from a show about grilled mackerel?
That's the beauty of it. We're eavesdropping on a casual conversation between the hosts, Hideki and Mayumi.
Sounds like fun. So, what are they saying?
Well, they're talking about all sorts of things like success, running businesses, and this idea of constantly evolving.
That last one is super relevant these days. Everything's changing so fast.
Exactly. And Mayumi, she has this interesting take on how business leaders should approach their careers.
What's her take?
She thinks pursuing multiple ventures at once can actually make you a better leader.
Whoa, that's counterintuitive. We always hear about focusing on one thing, becoming an expert.
Right. But she argues that spreading your energy across different projects can lead to some pretty cool breakthroughs.
I can see how that might make you more adaptable, more resilient.
Totally. And she gives this really vivid example to illustrate her point. She talks about this woman, a former cabaret club hostess.
Wow, what a career change.
And guess what? She now runs 7 businesses.
7. That's amazing. What kind of businesses?
All sorts. But the interesting part is how she's integrated her past experience into her new ventures.
How so?
Well, she incorporated a childcare element into her English language school.
That's brilliant. It's like she's creating a support system for single mothers and other hostesses.
Exactly. And Mayumi's point is that running multiple businesses can create these amazing synergies.
Yeah, finding those unexpected connections that can add value, build a stronger network.
And it also provides a safety net. If one business struggles, the others can cushion the impact.
Makes sense. Diversifying your portfolio, not just financially, but in terms of skills and experience.
Like cross-pollinating your own skill set. Constantly learning, adapting, discovering new ways to apply your knowledge.
And is Hideki on board with this idea of running multiple ventures?
Oh, yeah, completely. He actually has his own experience dabbling in music, theater, and a bunch of other creative pursuits.
So he's a fan of experimentation, trying new things, stepping outside the comfort zone.
It seems to be a theme here, right?
Totally. This idea of being an adaptable entrepreneur, always evolving and growing.
It makes me wonder, is this approach more common in Japanese business culture? Or is this a universal principle?
That's a good question. Mayumi actually brings up another interesting example to explore this further.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's about a successful marketer in Los Angeles who emphasizes personal growth as a key element of his success.
Personal growth. So it's not all about the bottom line for him.
Not at all. This guy sees success as a continuous journey of evolution, learning, and giving back.
He sounds like a pretty interesting guy.
He is. He's constantly challenging his own assumptions and making a conscious effort to use his skills to help others.
That's cool. And how does this relate to what Mayumi was saying about multiple businesses?
Well, she points out that this LA marketer actually saw the limitations of that whole focus on one thing approach.
Yeah, like, what happened?
He saw people achieve some initial success, but then they hit a wall because they weren't growing with their businesses.
Makes sense. If you're not evolving, you're getting stagnant.
Right. And Mayumi and Hideki, they start reflecting on the impact of the 2020 pandemic on businesses.
Oh, yeah. Talk about a major disruption.
Exactly. And it forced a lot of businesses to adapt, right?
The ones that survived, they were the ones who could pivot, embrace new technologies.
So this idea of constant evolution, it's not just a nice to have, it's essential for survival.
It's almost like Mayumi and Hideki are saying, embrace change or get left behind.
Totally. And then Hideki shares this really fascinating dream of his.
Oh, what's that?
He wants to create a space that blends the real and the surreal.
Whoa, that sounds trippy. What does he mean by that?
He's talking about blurring those lines, like in movies or anime where you're not sure what's real and what's imagined.
Interesting.
He wants to create an experience where people can step outside of their everyday reality and enter a realm of pure possibility.
It's a bold idea, that's for sure.
But it's so cool, right? From a business perspective, it's like taking this concept of constant evolution and making it tangible.
Yeah, like a physical manifestation of all these ideas they've been discussing.
Exactly. And Mayumi is totally captivated by this vision. She wants to see it come to life.
It's like they're saying, don't just talk about evolution, embody it.
It's powerful. Makes you think, how can we create those real and surreal spaces in our own lives?
Great question. Maybe we can explore that a bit later, but for now, I think this grilled mackerel conversation has given us a lot to digest.
It definitely has. I'm already feeling inspired.
Yeah.
It's like he wants to build a world straight out of their podcast.
Yeah, a place where their ideas can come to life.
That's what I love about this deep dive.
It really gets you thinking.
We started with grilled mackerel,
Right.
and now we're talking about blurring the lines between reality and imagination.
It's pretty wild.
You never know where inspiration will strike.
And sometimes the most ordinary things
Can lead to the most extraordinary ideas.
Exactly.
Mayumi compares Hideki's vision to those places you find in real life
Mm-hmm.
that you've only ever seen in a movie or anime.
Oh, I know that feeling.
It's like those two worlds collide.
For a split second, you're not sure if you're dreaming.
Exactly. She even describes finding a place like that in Tokyo.
Really?
It was like a holy pilgrimage for her
Wow.
because it connected her to those stories and worlds.
That we all kind of yearn for.
Yeah, those places hold a special kind of magic.
That sense of wonder and possibility.
And that's what Hideki wants to create.
A place that evokes that same feeling.
It's pretty ambitious,
For sure.
but it shows you what's possible
When you think outside the box,
and challenge those conventions.
it's about pursuing those unconventional ideas.
That could lead to something truly special.
And maybe that's the real lesson here.
It's not just about the specific examples.
But the way they approach thinking itself.
Embracing change.
Encouraging experimentation.
Blurring the lines between different worlds.
Whether it's industries or ideas.
Or even reality itself.
That's a whole new way of seeing things.
So let's take a moment to reflect.
As we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
What resonated most with you?
was it the idea of pursuing multiple ventures?
Or maybe the LA marketers focus on personal growth?
Or perhaps you were inspired by Hideki's vision?
What kind of real and surreal space would you create?
It's something to think about.
As we move into the final part of our deep dive
We'll be back to explore those key takeaways.
and how we can apply those insights to our own lives.
And we're back! I don't know about you, but I'm still thinking about Hideki and Mayumi.
It's amazing how their conversation just keeps unfolding in your mind. It really does.
Even though it was so casual,
Right.
it tapped into something much deeper
That needs to grow.
to explore,
To
push
push-
those boundaries.
Like, remember that former cabaret club hostess?
Yeah.
Talk about adaptability.
7 businesses. And the way she blended her experiences,
It's like she's rewriting the rules.
no more picking one path and sticking to it.
You can have multiple interests.
Experiment with different fields.
Find those unexpected
Yeah.
intersections.
That LA marketer.
Yeah, what a great example.
Personal growth.
Contribution.
It's not just about building a business,
It's about becoming a better person.
making a positive impact.
And that brings us back to Hideki's vision.
That space.
Blurring the real and the surreal.
It's not just about creating something cool
It's about giving people a space to explore.
to challenge their perceptions.
Think about those moments in your own life.
when you felt that sense of wonder.
That blurring of boundaries.
Maybe it was traveling to a new place.
Or experiencing a piece of art that moved you.
Or even just a conversation.
That opened your mind.
It's those moments that remind us.
That life is more than just routines.
It's about exploration,
Discovery.
continuous growth.
I think that's what we can take away from this deep dive.
It's about embracing that curiosity.
That willingness to experiment.
Stepping outside our comfort zones. What sparked your imagination today?
What new idea are you going to carry with you?
Are you inspired to explore a new interest?
Challenge a long-held assumption.
Maybe even create your own real and surreal space.
Remember, inspiration can come from anywhere.
Even a Japanese podcast about grilled mackerel.
Keep your ears open
Your mind curious.
and your heart open to new possibilities.
Most importantly,
Never stop evolving
explore.
while pushing those boundaries.
That's our deep dive for today.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for another unexpected adventure.